this is a shooing game for Miami. They won 30 some odd games in a row. They're going to be going down as one of the greatest dynasties, which I have a question for that later. But I think it was the first or second play when Miami's on offense and Dorsey got hit, and that was like the first time he got hit all year. And you seen the look in his eyes and the look in all of Miami players' eyes. I mean, what did you guys realize when? I mean, I think he still got the pass off, but when Dorsey got hit for that first time, did you guys see a change in that team?
Oh yeah, definitely, man, and that's something we talked about, as a defense, but especially linebackers, man, because whenever we get set, that's who we're looking at, man, and so his eyes were big, and that was an amazing play. I don't know if it was the first or second one, but that one where Will came off and with one arm, man, just pushed him over. That play right there, you got to understand that. And I know you do, man. Ken wasn't taking hits like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing we used to look at on film, like, what quarter is it? Because this dude looked as clean as he was, snap one. So that tells you right there, he's not even, it's not so much as he's getting sacked. He's not even getting pressure plays to where, one thing I know about us, and Coach Dino always let us, like, hey, it's not so much the sacks, man, that are going to affect the quarterback. It's just being around it, being around, of course you don't want to be around that leg, but just being around them. Just knowing that, hey, man, if I would have held that 1 second quick, longer, Will Smith would have ate me up, or Matt Wilhelm would have got me. You know what I mean? And then when you are getting it off, but you still getting those hits, it wears on you. So just think back in overtime when Matt Wilhelm hit Ken Dorsey, man. There at the end of the game, it was, he went out for a while. Like, you're not used to taking those hits, man. And you don't get used to them throughout a game. That's something that you have within. And if your body's not used to it, it's just not used to it. So, yeah, we saw his eyes. They were lit up. But, again, we knew we had to continue to play. You know what I mean? But we did see that change very early in the game to where he knew, like, okay, enough about they're slow, enough about we're going to dominate them, enough about that we're in a ball game, and are we ready? And by that time, it's too late.
You mentioned Maurice Clarett and the greatness with him. When he, after the turnover, and he went and stripped the ball back, I mean, what did that do to you guys on the sidelines as far as, watching it happen? He hustled, and you don't see that.
No, man. Like, honestly, man, I may be biased, man, because I have a lot of love for Maurice. In my mind, man, that is the greatest play, man. Like that play there, to each his own, man. I'm not telling nobody how to think, but in my mind, that is the greatest play. And I'm not just saying of the game, man. I'm just saying you put any play you want to put up in Ohio State history against that. And then it's hard not to get the strip and where we were at, I mean, it was a point swing. If you ask Ben Hartsock, I've seen stuff and have talked to him to where he just knew he was going to have a touchdown. And then one of the greatest ball players of our era, of our time, Sean Taylor. Like, let's put all of it aside as far as Ohio State, Miami. Let's look who ended up with the ball. Sean Taylor, one of the greatest. Now, like, he has the ball in his hand. He's ready to go somewhere with it. He's already changed the whole everything of the game, but now we put our guy, man. We put a guy who I feel is just as great in his own respect, man. Maurice up there, not only, this isn't a guy who practices hitting every day like we do. Angles on the ball, stripping the ball. This is a running back. If anything, he's about holding on to the ball, to have the awareness, to have the moxie, to have the nose for the ball, to have that hunger inside, to know that, you know what, I know we made a mistake, but we need that ball back. We need that ball back because we need to put points up. We can't come out here empty-handed. And then to strip Sean Taylor, it's one of the greatest plays in my mindset, man. I don't want to go too far with it, but put it up against anybody, man. And look at what was on the line, man. This wasn't no ranky-dank game, man. This wasn't no, oh, look who we were playing. This was for it all. And so in my mind, man, it's one of the greatest plays.
No, I definitely agree with you. I mean, a true freshman to have the mental aspects to, hey, I'm going to go get that ball back and get it back. It was beyond amazing. I just remember sitting there watching it, and my mouth hit the floor, and I just, I couldn't imagine what you guys were going through on the sidelines. Practice with the kid every day, and, like you said, you guys are a family and everything, and it's that whole selfless attitude that the team had, and he portrayed it in that one single play.
Right. Usually you see that stuff in practice, man. Like you'll see like one of our wideouts like catch a one-handed pass or a corner make a great play. But man, like again, it's all about timing and what was going on, man. So when you see someone, make that type of play, like you said, he was just a baby, man. He's just a freshman, and you see him make that type of play, man. It's just, especially if you're a football guy, man, like you know how tough it is to strip a guy. And then you look at who that guy is and everything that comes with him, man, and who he is. And then you look at Maurice, man, and you look at, I know I was so happy, man, because, I know that at the end of this game, no matter how it plays out, this is it. This is it. It has come and gone. When the sun comes up again in the morning, man, like my mindset is, what's next? And what next was, the next step in life. So I knew it was over with. And so plays like that, Michael Jenkins catching the fourth down prior to the interference, man, that's another huge play. Like, yeah, it looks like a simple out or a comeback or whatever it was, but I've talked to Mike. Mike has said like that hit right there, it doesn't look like a hard hit, but that hit hurt. You know what I mean? And to hang on to the ball, and I believe Sean Taylor was on that play there. To hold on to the ball and to keep the drive alive, man. There's so many heroes or heroic plays that it's just mind-boggling, man, when you really dissect the footage, man.
Well, speaking of heroic plays, it's, you're in overtime, fourth down for Miami, and you come off that edge, and there's nobody in front of you. What are you thinking when you're running towards Dorsey?
Man, like I can remember the play call coming in, and I remember like throughout the game, I'm like telling Coach Snyder, like, come on, man, like call one of these blitzes, man, like come on. And I remember Matt giving the call. And I remember like, everything's on the line. Like usually kids are playing with the basketball and they're like 3, 2, 1, and they want to hit that last shot. Yeah, man. So like it's really that moment, man. And like movies hit on it so clear, like, man, you don't hear the crowd. Like you hear the play call. You're so in tuned into the play. And honestly, when Matt got the play call, he looked me right in my eyes and he said, tight, we'll talk. So and I can remember ready break. And when we clapped, I couldn't hear the crowd. It was just that inner heartbeat, man, that doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And I can remember Will Smith looking over his shoulder at me like, bro, like this is now or never. Like everybody's looking at each other like, who's the guy? Somebody has to stop. Again, like I told you throughout that journey, there's always a guy who stepped up. So by this time, we knew what time it was. We knew somebody had to step up. So one thing that, we realized is that you can't just line up, that the talent, man, at this level is too great to just show your hands. So, I can remember just saying like, yo, man, you got to stem. You got to stem. And when I saw that they didn't have a tight end where I was going to stem to, and when I saw that the back, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't offset to the side that I was going to stem to and come off the edge, I knew. Like, before my eyes, man, I think about my mom and the struggle and the love that she's getting. I think about my dad. I think about my family. I think about my friends. I think about my hometown. I think about the Ohio State. I think about the great state of Ohio. I think about the best damn band in the land. I think about the Coopers and the Puggages and those. I'm talking about everybody, man. Everybody. The Andy Casimir, those old guys like Damon Moore, Antoine Winfield, Gary Berry, Niall Diggs, man, Brent Johnson. You know what I mean? When I think about those guys, Ryan Pickett, Nate Clements, one of my roommates. When I think about David Boston on the sideline, Eddie George, a guy who speaks on football, Kirk Herbstreit. When I think about, Tim May. When I think about everybody, man, who bleeds scarlet and gray, man, what do you think is going to happen? I got the greatest jump on the ball. I can't be denied that, man. Ohio State can't be denied that. That was all in that play, the greatest jump on the ball that I had personally. And, man, it was man, do or die. People don't know the pain early on in the game, breaking the pinky. They don't know about the rib injury. That shit don't matter, man. It's either did you get it done or not. And to know that, hey, it's down to this. There's not going to be many more opportunities. There ain't going to be many more flags. Aren't going to be many more anything. Man, it's now or never. Man, when there wasn't a tight end, when there wasn't a back, and it was just said hut, Ken Dorsey getting back in his drop and me coming off the edge and whatever I had left to grab onto, if I got my hands on you, you got to go to the ground. You have to. That's state law. That's Ohio State law. Bring them down to the ground. Silver bullets we don't miss, man. Get them to the ground. At the end of the day, I was taught by some of the greatest. I don't give a damn if it's pretty or not. Get them to the ground. That's all we worry about. Get them to the ground, man. And that's what happened, man. At the end of the day, we got it done as a team, man, because those guys have to cover. Those guys have to hold on to those blocks. I got to do my job. It's a total team effort, but, man, it still comes down to that individual to do what they're coached to do, to show up, to be effective, to be efficient, to be brave, to stand up against the pressure. You got to understand, man, I'm 37 years old now, man. You still a kid at 22, whether you want to hear it or not, man. And to have the weight of adults, the weight of your hometown, the weight of people who want you to see you fall, people who want to see you rise, to have all that on your shoulders and still be able to get it done, man, if there's nothing else that happens good, I've been blessed. I tell people, man, one of the greatest decisions I ever made in life, man, was at 18 years old, man, and wasn't listening to the people in my ear, man. I can remember my mom saying, you know what, see, you need to go off and think on this on your own. This is your decision. Wherever you're going to go, we're going to back you. But understand, wherever you go is where you're going to have to deal with every day, man. And making the decision to step on the Ohio State University, man, I wouldn't change a thing, man, because everything helped mold me into who I was. So again, going back to that play, when that stemmed and came off the edge, all I was waiting for him to do was just say, all right, I'm ready for this to end. Because as soon as that ball moved, it wasn't about the sound. It was when I saw the blade of grass move, when I saw the Romberg's hand move, when I saw the ball move, it was night. It was, here I come. You don't even have nobody over here. That's disrespectful, bro. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with you not to have somebody over here? This is the Ohio State playing for it all. Again, y'all playing with crystal balls and thinking about parties and shit. We're thinking about 1968. It's been too damn long. It stops here. 4th and 1. We ain't giving a damn inch because we're silver bullets. That's what it came down to. And again, it took all 11 guys, man. So I take great pride, man, in stuff that we were able to accomplish.
I don't think we can top. I have no, Shannon, if you have other questions, but I think I don't think we can top it.
Yeah, just one last thing. You said you travel a lot. Do you listen to Sirius Radio at all?
Yes, I do.
Do you listen to the college football station?
Yes, I do.
I think it was Jason Horowitz and Jonathan Vilma on there. And Jason Horowitz was talking about great teams, and he was trying to say that the Miami Hurricanes team of 2002 was a great team in Vilma, and you could tell by the angst in his voice that he said that there's no way that they were a great team. Greatness is when you meet or exceed your goals. and they did not meet or exceed their goals. And he said that Ohio State was definitely the great team. I mean,
yes.
played against them, you beat them on the field.